And we're going to start here with Ryan in California. Pronouns are he, him, and wants advice on dealing with theistic friends. Sweet. How you doing, Ryan?
Hey.
Hello?
What's up?
Oh, I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. What can we help with?
Basically, I moved in with a friend of mine pretty recently. We've been friends for a really long time. We're actually in the Marine Corps together. And sorry if I get emotional. It's kind of a crappy situation I'm in. Recently, he's become, I guess, a lot more religious in his thinking and stuff. And it's opened up this rift between us where I'm no longer even allowed to have other gay friends over because they're too flamboyant for him to be around. And I don't know what to do. He's like my best friend in the world, and I don't want to lose him.
And you guys are roommates.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing about roommates is that, especially if both people are contributing equally, the rules have to be fair for everybody. And I can't imagine being in a situation where a roommate wouldn't let me have my friends over unless my friends were, causing a problem. Where like if my friends came over and trashed the place or broke his stuff or whatever else. I know that you don't want to lose your friend, and I'm terribly sorry that you're in this situation. But what have you tried to do to talk about this with him at all?
We've had a lot of conversations where it's pretty much gone down this path of I'm not trying to hurt you, but he's trying to convert me, but it's not going to work. I mean, I've been an atheist since I started watching your show probably 10 years ago, and he says he's trying to protect me and help me, and
that's not his fucking job, and that's not him. No. I'm sorry. That's not his job. He's not. If you're a friend and you want to protect someone, you don't do that by imposing your view of their life over the top of it. If you were addicted to drugs and he was trying to do stuff to keep people who use substances away from you, first of all, that's not really his role either, but at least I could understand that. But the truth is, he just doesn't like homosexuals, which means he doesn't like you. And he wants to try to change you, is what it sounds like. Is that the feeling that you have?
If I'm being honest, yeah, I do get that. But it wasn't an issue before, and I just don't know how to get back to that point where we were friends and it wasn't even a problem.
Do you know what might have prompted this change?
Why he's getting more religious and more anti-gay? He joined a new church?
Yeah, he joined a new church, and it's pretty... I went to a service with him because I had to see what was going on there. They're Trump train and deny evolution in the wow. We're talking in the services.
Wow.
It's absolutely nuts.
Well, so the one thing that I always stress for people in this kind of situation is boundaries. It's very important to set up boundaries with them, sit down, have a serious talk with them about how, look, I'm not going to try to get you to leave your religion or change your beliefs or anything like that. And I respectfully ask that you not do the same to me. But also, you're both equal participants in the roommate situation. You both pay your way. I'm just assuming here that you both pay evenly on your living.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you as part of that conversation, you need to also say that, look, I'm going to have friends over, and unless there is some kind of major reason that's destruction of property or they're doing something that harms his stuff or his friends or him personally, then it's perfectly fine for you to have them over. And he can't tell you not to have somebody over. And I feel like it's kind of at the point where you just got to lay down these hard boundaries and tell him, like, look, this is the way that it's going to be. And if he doesn't like that, then that's a decision that he has to make. It's, you're pushing that responsibility off on him because you're not doing anything wrong. It's not wrong for you to just be you and for you to have your friends over as long as they're, not like all rowdy and everything like that, which I wouldn't assume that they are. But just laying down these hard boundaries and being, very firm about those boundaries, I think is probably what's needed. And I know that you don't want to lose that friendship, but it's ultimately, I feel, is going to come down to him making that decision, not you. And you can't control what decision he makes necessarily. Yeah,
I not only agree, but I mean, I'm going to just rattle off a couple quick things and then you can either address them or not, because I agree with what John said. You went to a service with him. I wonder if he would go to Pride with you. He says he's trying to help you. I wonder how he would feel if you said you were trying to protect him by saying that no one from his Trump train anti-science church could come over because they make you uncomfortable. I don't know if he has people from that church over, but if this is about actually caring about each other and wanting each other to have the best life, then the compromise often comes down to, okay, this part of the house is mine, this part of the house is yours, and this part of the house is ours. And we get to use it equitably. And as long as it, as long as it winds up, clean and unbroken and everything else, then it doesn't matter if I have 3 guys in assless chaps come over to do karaoke in the living room, and then you have someone from your church come over to talk about how Trump's going to take the country back next Thursday, and the pillow guy told them on your day to use the living room. But I'll keep my friends out of your room and your private spaces, and you keep them out of my private spaces. And that's the kind of compromise that has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he would go to Pride with me. And he does have people over from his congregation. And they make me very uncomfortable. But I guess it would never occur to me to tell him that those people weren't allowed at our place.
I hate to tell you this, Ryan, you are the better person and you are the better friend and you deserve better friends. And while I don't want to break anybody's heart. I've had friends that have had to give up. I've had family members that have broke my heart to not have anything to do with anymore. I want you to have a better, happier life. And one of the things that you're going to have to realize, and I'm not telling you what to do, there may be a way, to put down an ultimatum and get this friend of yours to realize he's not being a good friend, and that you are as uncomfortable by the people he's having in the house as he is by whoever you're having in the house. And that if we're going to stay friends, we need to do things differently. But I'm also wondering if you're free. Well, my producer's asking me if I can ask you to call in tomorrow, because the Transatlantic show tomorrow is on at 5. And there are things about this that I think might be relevant. But I want you to be treated better. I want you to have, like, if half a part of me, and I would never actually do this, but there's only a slight exaggeration, is like, pack your shit, move out and come live in the guest room until you find a better place to live. Because it's just, I've seen so many people just be walked all over by someone who claims to be their friend when, what does he do that demonstrates he's actually a friend to you anymore?
I just kind of view him as almost like a victim of his religion. So I don't really, it's hard for me to blame him with our history.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I can fix him.
And maybe you can.
Well,
and I'm in favor of you trying right up until the point where your life is diminished by trying to do that.
I was going to
go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say the same thing as Matt. Well, he's over there. I was going to say the same thing as Matt. It's good to try to talk some sense into them or try to help them think logically about things. But at some point, I do feel like you have to prioritize yourself over your friend. And knowing that point is always kind of a tricky thing, because we always want to help, the people that we love, essentially, the people that we love. So, you just have to figure out, like, at what line, are you going to set for, well, I've tried and I'm done. And I think once you know that line, I think you'll be on a good path. Like, if you want to go the path of continue to try to talk sense into them.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. I think maybe I'm at that point, because it was absolutely devastating to hear him say that, but because he knows how I feel about it, and he just doesn't really care that much, I guess.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your advice, and I think maybe I'll have to set some ground rules or maybe move out.
Yeah, if you have time and are able, I'd recommend calling in tomorrow. You can get advice from Katie and Arden as well. But no matter what you do, I like, let us know that everything turned out okay, or that it was a miserable thing, and you're going to have to. I think you're right that you reaching out right now to find out what other people think means you're kind of at the limit. And you got to have a sit down with this person and say, look, I love you. I value you as a friend. I would like to keep this friendship going, but I don't see this friendship the same way that it was. This used to not be a problem, but now, because of, I think because of your new church and your new seriousness about religion, you're now putting up walls that make it so that I can't be me in my own house. And if I were to try to put up walls so that you couldn't be you in this house, that would be wrong. And use those examples and see if he's willing to come to any kind of compromise. See if he actually values the friendship over his religion. And if he doesn't, run. You need better. You deserve better. And you've been the better person through all this. And there's some people you can change and there's some you can't. You don't know who they are until you try. And you may not know who they are until you try and try again. But you deserve much better than what you're getting.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It means a lot coming from you, Matt.
Well, I appreciate it. Ryan, I got one more call to get to. Take all that, think about it, think about calling in. Let us know how it turns out. I wish you the best. And yeah, if I could give you a big old hug
safe.
just with the COVID, I would. Take care.
Yeah.
That's, roommates are always a potentially nightmarish situation. I've been pretty lucky. Most of the people that I've lived with have been awesome. Some of them are some of my best friends and will be until I die. And really, I've only got, one situation where anybody was ever living with me that ever turned into a big problem. But I can't imagine having someone say, nah, you don't really get to be you here.
Yeah. That would seriously throw me for a loop. I haven't really had friends that I've actually trusted enough to become roommates with. I think the only people that I've lived with besides family have been like my ex-wife and then my current wife, Casey. So I haven't really had friends that I've trusted enough to be able to make payments on like an apartment and stuff.
I've had several people from the ACA have rented out the spare room over the last few years, either when they were going through a divorce or had needed a place to stay temporarily when they moved out of one place to another. And it's mostly worked out. So